So they put a tube all the way down into your lung, and then they vacuum all these pieces, bits and pieces out of your lungs. So what happens, the lung completely collapses, you cannot breathe, and the time they do it, you have no air, and you panic, basically.
What do you remember from waking up in a German hospital?
I remember the doctors talking about if we give him oxygen, he will die. So I said, oh, interesting remark, I will die. And then only so fragments of discussions came to me, this I remember very well. But to make a long story short, after 8 years or 10 years, I met the doctor in Hockenheim, and I asked him what happened to me really in this terrible accident. He said, you know, the reason you're alive is that you stayed conscious for a while and did not give up to go in a sleeping mode, which a lot of people do. If the pressure gets too hard, they simply get unconscious. And then you cannot proactive talk to your patient anymore. And the strength you had is that we could talk to you. And this was one of the secrets, I think, that I tried to stay awake, to follow the instructions, because for me it was clear. The only way is for me to stay alive if the doctors can keep me alive, because I can't do anything. I'm there anyway half dead. And this was really the part of my recovery, that I was always there to fully support what they asked me to do.
How well do you recall the priest giving you your last rites?
The nurse said to me, because I could not see anything, I could only hear, because everything was burned. And talking was difficult because I had a tube down my thing. I could only nod, yes or no, nothing more I could do. And when she said to me, do you want a priest? So I said, why does she want me to ask about a priest? And then she said, to give you the last rite. Then I said, oui. This I never heard in my life before, that I need somebody to give me the last rite. But then I said, if there's anybody up there, why not? Let's use him. I mean, such terrible conditions. So I nodded, said, yes, maybe it helps. Because I want to stay alive anyway. And then nothing happened. Because the priest thought I'm unconscious. He was only standing next to me, maybe said to her, we'll be at the army or whatever, gave me the last rites and left again. But I expected him to talk to me, like the nurse talked to me. He saw that the nurse talked to me, and I nodded. But he didn't. He only touched me on my shoulder, gave me the last rite and left. And then I said, this can't be true. So I really got upset and said to myself, now I'm going to stay alive. Because this was another thing which annoyed me in a positive way, to really keep my brain on working, to stay there and follow the doctor's instructions.
The doctors were forced to vacuum your lungs. What did that entail?
This was terrible because they asked me, this is the way the oxygen does not work. They explained it after again. But if you put a tube in your lung and we try to vacuum all these burns and carbon pieces, plastic pieces you had in your lungs, this can certainly help you to recover. It was a method which was never used before. A lot of times was just invented. And then sure, I'm going to do whatever they ask me to do. And then they said one important thing, as more often you do it, as quicker you recover. So they put a tube all the way down into your lung, and then they vacuum all these pieces, bits and pieces out of your lungs. So what happens, the lung completely collapses, you cannot breathe, and the time they do it, you have no air, and you panic, basically. And it was really painful and horrible. But again, they said, as more often you do it, do it. So then, I don't know, after half an hour, I said, let's do it again. The doctor said, no, it's too early. Wait, because otherwise you're gonna die because of that. So, but I got the message and did it as much as I could to get quickly these things out of my lungs. And then after 3 days, more or less, I was sure that I can stay alive.
I understand you don't remember the crash, but there was one time where you were smoking really strong marijuana in Ibiza,
This
where
was 100 years
you
ago.
had a recollection?
Yeah, my cousin came and said to smoke this. I never did before, to be honest. And Marlene took a puff, I did, and then I felt sick like you do not believe. So I had to go to the bathroom, and before putting everything out, I was standing in front of my bathtub, whatever you call it, and I saw the hole where the water goes through. And I suddenly got locked up in this hole and got back the same impression I had. At one stage at the hospital, I saw myself flying backwards into a big hole, very slowly, very relief, very nice flight. And I said, hey, what's happening now? I'm gonna die. Because it was such a nice feeling to get this impression going down. And I immediately switched on my brain and said, no, you're dying, listen to the doctors. And this came back only once in my life, like you just explained, when I looked at this hole, just trying to get rid of this stupid smoking thing. This came back once, and it was funny. It never came back before, only came back once and never again.